Hello everybody and welcome back to Physic Talks. Today we're going to be doing some good old-fashioned onion chopping with one of Onision's most recent videos called Dear Popular YouTubers. I don't know why it's titled that. It should be titled Dear iDubbbz, PewDiePie and Jeffree Star, because he only addresses these three people. It's basically about the use of the N-word, and I thought I'd chip in because typically Onision is getting everything wrong left, right and center, and I think it's quite interesting. I think it's interesting as to why he's felt like he's needed to make this video. I think there are some reasons behind it that he's not going to be discussing in the video. So the whole reason I wanted to talk about this is because I think context is very important, and apparently Onision does as well, even though he didn't address context in this video at all. And I think context is the most important thing to talk about when you're discussing the use of the N-word. I think Onision's just trying to do several things in one video, which is to one, address some bigger YouTubers for the sake of maybe saying something controversial and hopefully maybe gaining some sort of relevancy from that. I don't know. Also, he's been talking a lot about this black versus white hair thing recently, and I think he's trying to regain balance by discussing the use of the N-word to get some brownie points. I don't know. But let's basically start taking a look at the video, and as we're talking about it, I'll be explaining my beliefs on the use of the word in certain situations, and I'll be discussing the ways in which these YouTubers have used this word. I won't be talking so much about Jeffree Star because I don't really know Jeffree Star and I don't really know how he'd use the word, but it's very interesting. It's very interesting that he's discussed his problems with Jeffree Star not that long ago at all. He's discussed his issues with PewDiePie in the past and iDubbbz, so it's pretty funny that they're the only people he's mentioning in this video. Coincidence? No. Okay, let's do it.
Who's a good kitty? Who's a good little kitty?
Okay, so let's first take a look at the description for this video, because I think it's quite interesting. The description reads, "Popular YouTubers, you need to understand our history." Are you suggesting these guys don't know the history behind that word, and that's the reason why they're using it in the way that they do? You need to understand the true meaning of the words you are using, and you need to exercise a little sympathy. What, you think these guys don't sympathize those that have been through the slave trade, where the real origins of this word have come from? It's so ridiculous. I think you're very clearly making this video to get brownie points after you really annoyed the people that you're discussing in this video. Because Onision, the other day you wore blackface in a video. You wore blackface in a video, but here you are sitting up on your high horse trying to make iDubbbz and PewDiePie look bad for their use of the word, when you wore blackface for the sake of provoking people in a video. It wasn't for some message, it was literally just to provoke people and then call them racist when they were annoyed at you. It's insane that it's you that's now discussing this situation. I think it's funny that, considering you're moaning, I think it's funny because you've been ranting a lot about Jeffree Star recently, that he's one of the main people you're talking about. The way you're addressing it as well, by saying dear popular YouTubers, it's as if you're going to address everyone's use of the word, but you're not. You're just talking about three people that you don't like. So this is really funny. It's now the next day. I've been very ill recently, so I've only been able to be doing a little bit of recording here and there. Onision's now changed the title of the video to "The Truth About PewDiePie, iDubbbz and Jeffree Star." Brilliant. Brilliant. And why has he done this? Oh, because they're popular YouTubers and it'll get more views that way. pretty transparent as always, Onision, so well done for that one. We're now going to be taking a look at the video and I'll be giving you my opinions. Sorry, my hair's a bit wet, I've just been in the shower. And we'll get to the bottom of why he's made this video and whether he's got any valuable points to make in this video, which to an extent he does. Like, let's be fair here. A few things that Onision's been doing recently I've actually been a bit okay with. He apologised to a few people and I respect him for doing that, so props to you for doing those things. Now let's get to the bottom of this. Let's have a look-see.
Because people will side with people just because they like them and not because they're right. In a lot of people's eyes, if you do something horrible but you're liked, you can do no wrong, and what you did wasn't actually horrible, even though it would be horrible if anyone else did it.
What's funny is that he is a prime example of this. His fans will absolutely adore him no matter what he does, no matter what horrible things he does. And I've had many comments from Onision fans sticking up for him in some really bizarre ways, when it's like, how can you not see what this guy's doing? How can you not see the way... Well, I think it's because he's a very manipulative person, so he's a prime example of exactly what he's talking about here. And I think sometimes he likes to have a different opinion to everyone, just for the sake of having a different opinion to everyone and then calling everyone wrong and claiming that he's right. I think he often does this. You can see that with a lot of things.
So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying this for likes, I'm not saying this for views, I'm not saying this for anything, because people are going to be mad at me regardless of whatever I say, so long as I reference Jeffree Star, iDubbbz, and PewDiePie. Okay? Those guys are giants compared to me. So everything I'm about to say is going to be hated, it's going to be ripped apart, and I have basically no chance of this video succeeding as a result of the things I say.
It's funny, I think, well, what you're doing is you're trying to get views by making this video. I think that was the point, and now you've changed the title to have these 3 big YouTubers' names in it. I think it's very funny. It's very funny and very obvious that you don't really care about the subject. All you want to do is say something controversial and get views and money for doing that.
I could suck up to iDubbbz, I could suck up to PewDiePie, I could suck up to Jeffree Star, and that would get me views. Okay, that would get me likes, that would get me more successful.
Well, no, I mean, you say this a lot and you get it wrong. You don't get hated just because you have a different opinion and you don't mind speaking the truth. That's not usually why people dislike the things you say. People dislike the things you say because you're wrong most of the time. And you say things that are incredibly manipulative and egotistical. Those are the reasons why. You're not just disliked because you're some brave, valiant knight who isn't afraid to stand up for what's right. Because usually you're not standing up for what's right. You're in fact wrong about a lot of things and you need to come to terms with that.
But I'm not the type of person who's just going to say what will benefit me financially. I'll say what I actually think. And what I think is very important because it actually involves people who are currently and continuously, and have since the dawn of time it seems, been oppressed by white people. Black people. PewDiePie, iDubbbz, and Jeffree Star have all used the N-word.
I already don't like the way you're speaking. Yes, obviously there's been a great deal of oppression to the black race, but you also have to understand that America was one of the first places to abolish slavery, and ever since we've been progressing in a great way in terms of equality. So I hate people that randomly speak out about racism without really understanding the amount of oppression or where it's coming from or what's causing it, and it's just silly, really, isn't it? Because this is what Onision does. He speaks out about things that he doesn't really have a clue about, like racism, or he talks about charities a lot when he uses these things to make himself look better and for little other purpose.
Some have used it out of anger, some have used it as a joke, and when I say some, I mean PewDiePie and Jeffree Star have used it out of anger. iDubbbz has used it as a joke.
Right, you can't just say that because that's not the truth, is it? By saying that, you're making it seem like PewDiePie has called someone an N-word in anger, which absolutely isn't the case, and you fully well know that. And it's people like you that perpetuate this idea that PewDiePie is some kind of racist anti-Semite when he absolutely isn't. He's just a bit stupid when it comes to using that word. And I think PewDiePie's been pretty out of line in the way that he's used it so casually before, but I know for a fact that he's not a racist, and he's never used it in anger for the original purpose of the word. You have to talk about context when you're discussing this. You really do, because you bang on about how important context is all the time, and yet you never follow it. You always talk about how people twist context, and that's pretty much what you're doing when you're not discussing it in a situation where it's the most important part of the topic.
But I want to explain to you guys why you don't use the N-word. And I know it's hard for you to comprehend because you're white. You've been living your whole life not having to suffer a racial slur.
Amazing, Onision. You're such a valiant knight, standing up for what's right. Wait, hold on. Is this you? Is that? Because that looks a bit like you wearing blackface. I think you did that to annoy people and for no other reason. Right, okay. I guess we'll just ignore that then.
So, iDubbbz seems to have a philosophy, and many other white people seem to have a philosophy, that if you say the N-word, it normalizes it and makes it less hurtful. Okay, well, let's think about what the synonym of the N-word is when you're referencing black people, or otherwise clearly using the N-word out of hate. And of course, the N-word is endlessly connected to black people, so you just can't get away from it. It means something very, very degrading. So what could I call white people, or people in general, that's very, very degrading? How about useless scum, inferior scum? All right, so let's say we all just start saying useless scum or inferior scum. Does that make it feel better over time?
Yes. That's the point. That doesn't prove that you're right. Like, what? You've just repeated exactly what iDubbbz says, which is that the more you use it, the more it's normalized. And the way you're saying it is as if the whole idea is that if iDubbbz says it in every other sentence, then suddenly it will have no meaning. No, that's absolutely not the thing. But you're not sitting here making a video about the use of the word are you? You're not doing that because it's not attached to black people and racism and oppression and what you think is oppression and your valiant bullcrap. You're only talking about this subject because you've off a lot of people from the black community recently by talking nonsense about braided hair types specific to the black race. So you're just trying to cover your ass at the minute. You're not sitting here making a video about the word because it's not relevant to your situation and it won't help you get out of this trouble. So transparent you are, my friend, and it's pretty bad how obvious what you're doing is. So I think that's going to do it. I just want to say, basically, the way PewDiePie and iDubbbz use the word, the whole idea is that the more the word is used, the less power you are giving to the word. So PewDiePie and iDubbbz very clearly understand the history behind the use of the word, and they understand that the more we cower in fear of this word, the more power you are giving it. So the more it's used, the more normalized it becomes. And that's not to say that these guys just want to use it in every other sentence, because iDubbbz will get stuff in his fan mail and it will just be a single piece of paper that says N-word, and he's clearly peed off with it. He doesn't want to keep seeing this over and over again. So I think even he is getting tired of seeing the word being used a lot. The word has multiple meanings. It isn't just used in a hateful way, and I don't know why you're describing it as if PewDiePie and iDubbbz are doing that, because they have never used it in like an aggressive way towards someone or anything like that. I think you need to be more clear with what you're saying. I know what you mean though. I think PewDiePie once has said it in anger, but not in the way that you're making it out to be. So those are my thoughts on this. I obviously am massively against racism, but I find that if you're going to use the word in a friendly way every now and again, there's no problem with that. Either none of them are okay or all of them are okay, as iDubbbz says. And I'm just going to put up a completely irrelevant image onto the screen right now. Just a picture of Onision, just thought you might want to see it. Because it's not relevant to the situation though, I think Onision's trying to pretend this never happened, but it kind of did, actually. It kind of did. So anyway, I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it, guys. If you've enjoyed the video, please do leave it a like and subscribe if you'd like to help support me and my channel. So I'm going to be back streaming on Twitch this Friday from 7 PM. I should be. Just check up on my Twitter if you want any updates on that, because there's a chance that I won't be streaming, but just honestly check my Twitter because I will always post updates on there. Basically, I won't be streaming on YouTube for another 3 months. I've been banned for using copyright music. Really annoying, and I'm going to do my best to sort that out, but it is what it is. Anyway, thank you guys. I will see you in the next one. Take care now.